Grant Hubbard, everyone, here with another Gutter Growth podcast. I've got Michael Lessner with me today, live and in person.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good to see you, bro. It's been a minute. Um, what's been going on?
Gutters, gutters, gutters.
Gutters and gutters and gutters. Me
Every day.
all day, every day. Me and Mike work together at two different locations, and you're over at the Guild Collective now.
I am.
I like their gear.
It's good looking clothing.
Is that part of the culture over there? Like, it seems like it's important to them to have a nice branding.
I think they're building a brand
Okay.
from nothing. So I don't think there's a prominent branding there
Mhm.
right now, but they're working on it.
But I love that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to them that it's kind of clean, like, or is that just you?
Mm.
And I don't mean obviously the white. I just mean the branding is fairly clean that they're working on.
So that they actually have this really cool website called Tag Your Swag, and
Oh, really?
yeah. So they've selected a long list of items that they've approved to have their logo on.
Okay.
And so you can go ahead and
Thank you.
you can order whatever you want with their logo on it that they've already approved to have it. So
What is this
picked
called?
up. Tag Your Swag.
Tagyourswag.com.
Not positive if it's a .com or not. You might just tag your swag and search it up.
Yeah, tag swag. This thing right here.
Right. So there's a specific page on there.
Very cool. Yeah, that makes sense. And so you can pick and purchase this stuff.
Your uniform, your way.
Ah, that makes sense. I like that.
It gives everyone a individualism. So
All right. Well, you come on here to watch, learn, grow, hear people just bullshit. Tagyourswag.com allows your employee to essentially, probably within limitations, build out his own uniform. I like that. That's kind of like what I've always been for the guys, right? Tag your swag, but definitely I just brought the stuff. Okay, that's pretty cool. Hey, well, so we happen to have a package here that just came in right behind Michael. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna open it. Let's see if it's anything worth talking about. If it's not, I'll just brush it off to the side. Let's see what we've got here. Ah, I should have known. I should have known. The minis. What do you think about these things?
Is this a 2x3?
It is. So we sold a job. I forgot that these were coming and we needed 6 2x. We're selling them on existing homes, even when we're not just selling gutters. Like it's a great upsell with a clean out or something.
I can't tell you how many times I've made something to go on the end of
I know, right?
So that's brilliant.
You've seen some of these, huh?
Oh yeah. I want some.
We got to get you some over to the collective. They're easy to get. Let's not spend a lot of time talking about that. So what's been going on with you, man? Since we haven't worked together, it's been a year.
Just about.
And you've been over there and you're doing a lot of snap lock. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, we do a lot of snap lock. Truss systems.
What's the truss system? Yep.
They've got slanted fascia truss systems and regular truss systems.
I didn't know there was two separate ones.
Oh yeah. There's 5200 and 5400.
Okay.
54's got a lip on it.
Ah, so it's built out already with the little
And then they have
wedge.
extenders for
Oh, really? So you can put an extender on there to build it out to the wedge size?
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
I always found that with all the moving parts, it's more particular. Like you've got to
For sure.
be more particular with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the guild, are they like a
So
they have to be licensed or something to sell that, or they're just like subbing?
from my knowledge, they have a working deal with
with Carl and Truss.
Carl,
Okay.
That limits them in the area. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On that.
Yeah, and just to specify, I want to talk with you about you, but I'm just interested because you came through Shining, and that's where you happen to represent for at the time.
That's what I wear even on the weekends.
That's what I like too. Yeah, for sure.
And no one knows what it is really.
No, I mean, you don't appear to be a gutter company.
No.
It's more like a custom home builder. Like if they thought you were in the trades, it's more like a custom home builder, but it's almost like a clothing line and has nothing to do with.
Yeah, a little bit.
I like it that way though. I mean, I think it's cool.
I'm proud to wear it.
Very cool. I agree with that. What else has been going on with you, man? Like in the gutter world, have you learned anything new in the past year? I mean, I'm sure you've learned something, but like anything that really sticks out that you're like, okay,
I found that the in the past, I guess now 6 years that I've done this, the gutter aspect, the installing gutters, or is actually one of the least difficult things.
right.
It's everything that
It's
surrounds
like getting
the
along with other
gutters.
people or
Exactly.
just being at
So
work.
you ask what's going on. I would just say I'm fine tuning all of the things that are, surround gutters.
That's a great perspective on that because I say it all the time, like putting screws in wood. Cool, man. But how's the rest of everything
Yeah.
else? Like, can you communicate with the customer at a high level? Can just everything at a high level? Or are you just a basic guy that can knock out 300-400 feet of gutters? Like, there's a
Right.
big difference there. Do you find yourself doing a fair amount of stuff over there that's custom outside of, I could assume with with that snap lock system, you have to customize a decent amount. I mean, there's probably more customization than normal, but outside, I'm talking stuff like what me and you have. This podcast is sponsored by One Gutter Guard, the premium gutter guard that delivers the highest performance, quality, and value to your customers. From its different mesh filters to its unibody construction, One Gutter Guard can be the difference maker in your business. Are you interested in becoming part of the exclusive dealer network? Contact them today at onegutterguard.com or just give them a call. Now back to our show.
It's funny
Just craziness in the
you ask
past.
that because I find that a lot of the calls that we'll get outside of from the networks that we're already working in, a lot of the calls we'll get are jobs that other people won't do because it's so odd
That makes sense.
out there. Um,
You're the cool company.
no, I'm picking up the leftovers sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but
But that is the truth. I mean, it is what it is. Like,
um, but no, yeah, we've done a lot of custom work, and it's cool for me
mhm.
to get the opportunity to do that and put it under my plate.
As an installer, what do you think is like the best part of the day? Work is already work, but you show up. We all love a nice one story bump to whatever, but like outside of that, like what is the thing that still is like, okay, man, here we go. I'm about to kill it.
You know, I really think it's when I have good chemistry with the guy next to me. I think that's when I have a really good, the second that I realize, okay, we're gonna do this,
Hmm.
then that's probably the best part of my day. Um, and that really just depends on the mindset that you're coming into it with, especially for the guy next to me. And
Right.
it is really hard to read the guy next to you sometimes if I
Hmm.
work with him every day. And I don't often get the opportunity to work with the same guy every day.
Is that different right now?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little inconsistent, and I see the pros and cons to it. But if yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
I
much
mean,
it.
that is what it is. My favorite thing to do as an installer was the like 5, 6, 7, 8 story buildings. Now I know you don't necessarily have those in Bernie, and I'm not saying that I like loved the heights,
Right.
but I knew those were going to be good paydays because of the downspout footage, usually just like stick and go,
Yeah.
and usually longer runs. And we'll talk about that stupid building that you brought up before.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's
But there's a couple other times like on those big ones, like okay, so I'm in Florida with Alejandro, who was just down here on my last podcast,
right.
and we got stuck in a boom a couple of times. Like it just wouldn't go up or down, and we had to call the company and wait. And then I think there's something about when you're doing those and you got the harness on and the pouch and the hard hat, and you're like suited up, and you're just kind of like probably the same pride like a fireman or a military or like a police officer that's got their whole uniform on. You just feel like a little bit more
Yeah.
than something you're like, I'm about to go up here and do this 8 stories in this lift and tie off in some heavy, light, light machinery, but I almost said heavy
Right.
machinery. You're taking a little bit bigger risk. So that was always the funnest part for me, I think, when
I see that 100%. Yeah, I always love. I don't and I do love putting on the harness and the hard hat.
Yeah, I hate putting it on, but once it's on, I'm like, somebody get a picture of me or a damn video or
Yeah, I can
something,
do it
right?
all. I'll do it all right here, right now.
Do it
Let's
right
go.
now. Hubbard with 16 drills and 8 pouches on. Like, this is how I work every day.
That's no joke. I saw your pouches.
Yeah. You know what's funny is nowadays, I mean, we've only been apart a year, Michael, but like, you know, you wouldn't believe this. I actually don't even own a pouch anymore.
No way. You got rid of them all?
I don't have a pouch anymore.
All of them?
All of them.
Oh.
I couldn't even pouch up to prove a point. And I was at Home Depot this morning and I was like looking at some pouches just for shits and giggles. I can't remember what I was getting. I was like, oh, I think I realized the other day, I was like, man, I don't even actually have a pouch. The last really nice one I had, I sold to Delario, remember?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And that was like the monster. And
Big
then I
red.
had some backups. You know, I give my stuff, dude,
Yeah.
for the most part. So, like, yeah, I realized I didn't have a pouch. And then I was like, yeah, if I buy another pouch, I don't think I'm going to buy it from Home Depot. I'm going to go back to the Atlas, which I had many years ago. I'll probably just grab something like that for simple, you know. My back probably couldn't even deal with wearing a pouch
I
anymore.
would say
But
be happy with where you are. Don't
yeah, I
don't do it.
don't try to go backwards. Hey, boss, I got a pouch.
Oh,
They're gonna be like, hey, all that 1,000 foot a day crap you're talking, get out there.
no,
Not no more.
no.
What are you using for a setup these days? Same?
Pouch?
Yeah, same.
I've actually narrowed it. I've got three different pouches.
Okay.
So I've got my Mac Daddy. It's
Yeah,
got
for everything,
one,
big
two,
days.
three with add-ons, and
Yep.
I have two drill
Yep.
attachments, and then I have a lighter one which I use if I'm doing just a bump up to a one by that kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
150 to 300 feet,
Okay.
one story. But the one that I've been going with recently, doing a lot of truss and leaf protection and whatnot is man, it's just a Carhartt belt with a couple little pouches and then some sleeves for
More like a framing
it's almost
belt,
like a
maybe.
Batman belt.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
literally like
respect
that.
that. Yeah.
It has slots for me to slide like three pairs of like snips or crimps
That
or
makes sense. I can envision that just
Mm,
for super lightweight
right.
durability. We call that kicking ass and taking names. Robert Smith, I were 12 minutes in, I think, and cussing already. Thanks for all that you do for us and inspiring us to swear. It's a man's podcast. When did, yeah, I was interviewing him and he's like, I can't remember, and I'm just making this up totally, but he's like, oh, do we swear on this? And I'm like, fuck no. It was before the
And he's
thing.
just like,
Well, you know, and whatever, but you know, I
right.
shame on me. I try to be a leader and a good Christian and things. And then I also get on here and it's like I feel like this is the time that I can let go a little bit. So
Right.
there's probably a couple people I want to come on here and they're like, he's swearing. No, not till he can temper that down. And I'm like, it's a gutter podcast for now.
Still like your mother's right there.
Shoot. Doggone it. With that gun, I'm glad you're here with me. I want to talk some more stuff. So there's a good takeaway though. Installers, right? Having a couple different pouches. I mean, if you're not even invested in one solid pouch, you know, and you're not proud of it, then there's a takeaway right there. Like, get your pouch, your one pouch game real nice. But if you end up with having a couple for different types of jobs, especially if you're just going to do guard or something, right, where you really just need a drill and a mouthful of screws, well, I think we would stop putting all the screws in our mouth and just have like one of those little chalk bag style pouches or something.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Just and even if you're just doing leaf protection and you don't have your bags on, it's like you're still a guy who's not wearing his bags.
Yeah, and then it's hard to ever tell anybody else. Like, you don't have your bags on, what the hell's going on? Because
Right.
for the most part, on a full big job, like the guy who doesn't have his bags on is the guy that's being lazy.
Yeah.
Not, I always have to tell people, not all the time. There's guys out there with the mouthful of screws and a drill that are freaking smashing it. We know you. We know you guys. You don't have to tell us about it. We know I've been that guy for sure
Yeah.
too. And I'm tired of all these chipped teeth, you know? My wife's like, when you get all those chipped
The
teeth, I'm
screws
like,
are
screws.
brutal.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So no more pouch for me. I got a nice desk and some cool computers.
Oh, yeah. I bet you do.
That's fun times. Let's talk story real quick. I like storytelling with you.
Yeah.
So got? I'll let, and if you want, you can go first. But do you got anything that sticks out like that's just hilarious that somebody can probably?
I mean, man, the one that just comes to mind is just we had planned out to do this U-Haul and 7 inch
Mm.
for a Friday when everyone could get off early and it was going to be cake and it was going to be amazing.
The hollow. That was all hollow, right?
Yeah, it was all
Thing,
like
styrofoam, like
quarter-inch stucco.
12 inch, quarter-inch stucco, and then 2 feet of hollowness behind it. You could stick a pool cue in the side of this building and just make this thing disappear.
Yep. Yeah.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, no, it was great.
What stuck out about that? The fact that I don't think, did we get it done on a Friday though?
Oh yeah.
Oh
We got
yeah.
it done about 2 hours later
Oh
than
yeah,
we
that's the
wanted
one
to.
on my Instagram where we roped up those
Yeah.
160 footers or something. You
Yeah.
guys were on the roof. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great one. And I really appreciated your help that day. I'm sure everyone else did too. Uh
Yeah, I had a freaking blast being over there. I think the coolest part about that day was maybe that video we made with Greg, slow-mo
yeah,
walking and
put in the
blowing a
sunglasses.
kiss or whatever into the mic, into the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I know what it is that you're going to talk about. So what else happened over there, Michael?
Yeah, so like it was, maybe it was 1 o'clock and we wanted to be done by noon. And and it
On
was
a what, $9,000, $12,000 job or something?
yeah, something like that.
Everybody's gonna get rich today.
Yeah, right. And it was like after exactly at 1 o'clock, every 30 minutes after that, and it was probably only maybe an hour and a half later, but Grant said, okay, I need to leave in 30 minutes, and 30 minutes would go by.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I need
right.
to leave in 30 minutes.
You guys
No
are killing
joke.
me.
30 minutes go
I
by.
wasn't
Right,
even supposed to be working. Like not even I'm not even a worker.
right,
Like,
right. But nonetheless, you were on that lift,
mm-hmm.
and your last 30 minutes, you were doing some downspouts for us or with us. I think you had a guy up there.
No,
No.
no, it was
Okay.
doing them for you guys for sure. I was trying to figure it out as the leader. I was trying to figure out how we were going to get into right. It
Right.
was all
It was,
hollow and
yeah, I
yeah, the
saw
whole thing was a
the
nightmare.
nightmare.
So anyway, yeah, I got up there and it was like, oh, I'll show you boys how we get it done. And I wanted everybody to get off right too, because I said it was going to be
An early
quick,
day.
an early day, so I don't mind helping. And my hard hat still has a big gouge in that. Carry on. Tell us, Mike.
Yeah, yeah. So you were doing the last downspout of the day. You're up on the lift, and I'm sitting there and watching because someone's got to be down there just in case something happens up
I
top.
think
Or
that was like 4 stories. It was about 40
I think
footer or
at the
something.
corner it was more like five,
Yeah,
but yeah, right
probably.
there about four stories, 4x5, and Grant runs out of zips, and so he calls down, hey, I need some zips, and so I think what was it Tim? Tim ran over, and I'd grabbed the container from him,
Yeah, we had those plastic containers with the lids on them or something, and he went and got some.
and I could tell you were getting a little.
I'm pissed right now just thinking about it.
So I tossed the zips up, and I miss.
Way miss. I mean, it
Way,
wasn't like, and I'm on a lift too, so I'm not gonna like hang over the edge and grab him.
right.
He throws me up what 100 or something in a thing and misses by like 30 feet.
Yeah.
What
And
happened after that? They busted
no, no,
every.
no, no, not the first time.
No.
The second time I grabbed them again, they were good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
'Cause I
you
think you
held your
caught
you
it.
held your hard hat out.
Oh yeah, I was gonna.
Okay, just throw them and I'll catch them.
You just get him. Just get him up here, 40 feet.
Yeah, I throw them and they miss and bust. And I take my hard hat off and I'm leaning down and I'm laughing and Grant's hard hat goes flying past me.
I was fucking mad, dude.
I'm trying not to let him see me laughing because I think it would have made it worse. It was great. We got
And
the
someone's gonna
downside.
go, well, why didn't Grant have all his screws up there? Yeah, I mean, it's totally my fault for sure. I wasn't pouched up. I wasn't supposed to be working. I think I was going up to cut the 4x5 outlets. Remember, that's really what
Yeah,
I was doing. And then while I was up there, while I'm here, let me put an outlet in. While I'm here, hand me a stick. While I'm here, we did the same
yeah,
game with tap cons. Instead of, remember that stupid lift was moving so slow. The
yeah.
reason I didn't come down just real quick and get screws after it was like 12 tries
So
of throwing crap up is because it would have took me 40 minutes to come down in the stupid lift. Literally, it was. I don't know what's going on with my lighting here, but listen, it's a gutter podcast, right? Like,
what are you gonna
as
do?
long as you can hear our voice, that was a good one. I remember at the other company one time, just a frustrating job. that I remember I was dying laughing, and I didn't want you to know that I was laughing.
What was that?
It was you and Delario out at way out in like Uvalde
Oh,
at that half round
oh,
copper with with the guards and stuff. Hey, they're so slanted and like just kind of crap.
talking about what were those like the Kings of Uvalde or what?
They were, and I don't even know. We did a bunch of work for them. They're great people. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just, but that particular job, remember you had to tear off all that old
yes,
stuff.
I do.
And I was out there and I was like, hey, what's taking you guys so long? You're like, man, this one's getting after us. And of course, what I do, I got up there, kind of showed you how to pop those pieces off. But then you were like, yeah, how do you think we should attach these gutters to this
Yeah,
slanted
like round slant.
slant? And I was like, you got it, man. I believe in you. I got in my truck, dude. I was laughing so hard. I was like, man, he's gonna be here for 3 days. I knew it.
Yeah, yeah, that was great. It was what was it? Round wedges on rounded rafters.
Dude, it was
Yeah.
the wrong. I mean, I knew it. I was at a
Oh
position at that time where it was like, whatever. I mean, we'll figure it out, right? But like that wasn't what should have been sold on that
well.
house.
Oh, no, we all knew that.
Like it should have been a modern bar wraparound hanger, something, bolted onto the fascia.
Side riders or
Yeah,
something.
not head and hangers with these stupid. So, but I want you to know that I laughed so hard, probably the whole hour and a half drive back to Castroville.
I'm getting a little bit mad right now just thinking about that job. That was that was that was
Oh,
awful.
okay. So thinking about one more last job, and then I want to switch topics. Kind of one of the last ones we did together over here, where we made that. I just reposted it again.
Yeah, the
We made
7 inch
that. Well, it was a 7 inch by 12 inch by.
scupper.
Yeah, we made that scupper over there, and it's just like the ingenuity that you can have with metal. You really can create anything. Like if you slow down and you don't stress the hell out or panic, you can make an end cap. I mean, you can make an elbow out of pipe. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
there's times to be frustrated, and then there's other times where it's just like, all I need is coil, and I can make something happen here,
yeah,
even if it's just momentary till I come back in a couple days with the right part or something. But like most of the time, just with metal, if I still have some coil in the truck, like
yeah, most
you
definitely.
can
Yeah.
make anything.
You
We just need
can.
to get the water from the roof to the ground.
That is the goal. No, yeah. There's been several times where scrap aluminum in my truck has come in handy.
Very handy.
Yeah, I could think of a dozen times.
Hey, what about that van you were in?
Which one?
The one that used to like stop going.
You talking about in San Antonio?
Mm-hmm. Wasn't that you that had to drive that van that would like
Yeah,
get a little warm and you just had to pull over for like 10 or 15 minutes 8 times a day?
yeah. I drove that for a good while.
That was the champion van right there. Remember, we were like, this is amazing, dude. You should be so happy.
You know,
You should be thankful to have a job, even if you're on the side of the road 5 times a day.
be grateful or be gone.
I don't. It got so twisted. I never said it again.
Yeah. I don't. I
Be
was
good.
gone.
It was be good or be gone. It was
Yeah.
be good yeah. Be
Yeah.
blessed.
Yeah, at the same time, though, you do have to be grateful for every opportunity you have, whether it's a good one or a bad one.
Yeah, the bad ones you just get the hell away from though.
Right. You
I mean
use it as a
that's
learning
yeah,
experience.
what not to do again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Red flags.
red flags all over. Um, so like um, but that job, so that builder, the one we just did where we made that, not just, it was a year plus ago.
Right.
But remember they were doing those like 20 or 40,000 gallon tanks, and there was that builder out there digging off. That's when we first went out there and we upsold the whole back in 7 inch and all
Did
that.
you connect to it?
He connected to it,
Okay.
but he just ended up giving us some houses because now that guy's building houses. The guy that was doing just the underground.
Okay. Give you some
So
more work.
yeah, it's been nice, man.
Nice.
We've been staying busy, and we were just talking about you. It was that guy? He called me, I don't know, a month ago. I was like, hey, what's going on? I want that same crew back. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, those guys got tired of driving 2.5 hours to work each way. We understood it. It was what it was. But
Yeah. It was that was rough, but I mean, I wanted to be there.
no, I know. I mean, it just sucked you didn't live a little closer. We'd probably still be rocking. But at the end
Oh
of the
yeah.
day, like shit, life goes on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You just got to keep moving, And I don't think I'm not unhappy with where I am and where I went. And I'm sure
Right.
you're not unhappy with, what happened when
Leaving
I
you? Are
did.
you leaving?
Yeah, I'm sure you're not unhappy, or I'm sure
No, I
you're
mean, listen, you got to find joy in like even bad days.
right.
So whatever. You know what though? Like since I haven't been working with you, I quit drinking.
Yeah, I did. I did. I'm
Yeah, it's pretty.
curious to spend some more time with you and see.
It's pretty boring.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
play
do
cards. Or,
a lot of podcasts and talk gutters,
yeah.
and then when I'm not doing something gutter related, I'm trying to find a way to do something gutter related. So it's like just pretty wild over here. Like I'm getting real crazy. But
Can I ask you a question?
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, in 28 years, what do you think has been the most difficult everyday task, or anything surrounding gutters, doing every aspect to the gutter industry?
Mhm.
What do you think is the most difficult part of gutters?
Working for a boss that micromanages you,
Yeah.
100%. For me, I'm not saying that's a standard across the industry that you should be aware of or look for. Some people need to be micromanaged. Those people should be fired though.
Mm.
If you have to like micromanage someone more than just a little bit, like that's time to like, okay, there's a process here. Help build them up, give them structure, give them guidance, set expectations, let them work the ladder, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, like if you're just that type of person, you shouldn't run a business. So to me, in all my years of experience, having a boss micromanage you and act like they know what they're talking about is the highest stress form. Stress will kill you. No, I ended up in the hospital a couple of times. It was
Oh,
crazy.
I
A
remember.
lot of people ended up in the hospital
I remember.
for the exact same thing. Stressed the fuck out. So that's the absolute worst, to be honest. Okay. Outside of that, I've loved passionately doing gutters since the first day I started doing it in 1996. And I've got to work for a lot of companies in a lot of states. The absolute hardest thing physically, though, is some of those houses on the ocean
Bro.
with the high winds and the
Oh,
tile roofs, and it's hot as crap. And I'm mainly talking Florida and California homes I've done. Um, it's just really windy. Like you said, like maybe your helper sucks and you just know, I'm not saying you said that, but
right, right, right.
the
So
fun part about it
all
is when
been
you
there.
have a good helper. But those days where you don't have a good helper, there's no company culture. So I just think that the hardest part about the job is when the culture's messed up. And that comes from micromanaging bosses, know-it-all bosses, bosses that get in the way. Like it just comes from horrible ownership is the worst days, I would say.
So when you say bosses, now boss is a broad term. I mean,
Owners,
I'm okay.
the
Owners,
owners.
but
When the owners suck at a company, that's the worst thing to me. When I have to wake up in the morning, I'm like, I've got to go make money for me and this guy.
hmm, you want
Because I always remember that I'm making money for myself too.
to.
Like no one can stop that. But I've got to put some in this guy's pocket too. Those were the worst days for me. I stressed out about it. That's when I think about like quitting. And then I was always like, Grant, you're not a quitter. You're going to stick this through. Who cares what he or she says or how they're treating you? It doesn't matter. Just push through. Just take the abuse.
Hmm.
Versus like lots of owners that I work for that they are the culture champion. They come shake everybody's hand. They do things for the company. They don't remind you that they write the check. Like those are the worst days. Working for shitty people is horrible.
Yeah.
And it makes me when I go out to the hard jobs, remember they're getting a huge piece of this pie and they're not even here and they're a piece of shit.
That makes me think of it was actually something else I was thinking about earlier today is when it comes to culture and when it comes to social skills,
Yep.
I'm almost stuck in my belief that you can't teach someone social skills. That's just me. I think that you're born with it and you can hone it.
Uh-huh.
But I
Okay.
don't think it comes to everyone naturally, and I think that there's a clear line there between those who can socialize and who have social skills and those who don't. And I think that that's pretty prominent in the gutter industry, and I think it separates a
That
lot
is a
of people.
big conversation around. I agree with you. And I disagree that people can't be trained. I think that you'll grow into that respectfully as you get older and you see it for yourself. How old are you right now?
23.
Okay, so at 23, I remember thinking that I would never change.
Hmm.
And when I was 23, I was starting to get in some trouble and stuff. And I was like, starting to feel like, okay, like, am I out of control? Is this who I really am? Like, damn it, is this how it's going to be? Problems with friends or girls, like, oh, people are never going to change. But now, as I'm halfway, you know, I'm in my mid 40s, like, no, people change
Hmm.
and people grow, but it's based off of, I mean, their community that's around them. And when I say community, it could be literally the community, could be their household, could be their parents, could be their wife, could be someone at church, could be someone at the drum circle, someone at the rock concert, like wherever it may be. If they find the right person to latch onto and start to emulate them, that is when change happens. I think that's also part of evolution as
Hmm.
well. Even when we talk about animals and human beings, I'm a Christian, so I don't believe that humans evolved from something else, but I think that we absolutely evolve, right?
Right.
And so I think as you grow in your professional and personal maturity, if you can be around someone that you want to emulate, that is going to be the easiest way to guide someone into becoming more social.
It's an interesting concept.
No different than animals eventually evolve into some type of whatever it may be, like other style of animal, like things that might have never climbed trees, start climbing trees eventually because it becomes the only food sources up there. They watch other things do it, so
Right.
they eventually evolve to do it. It's the same philosophy for me in teaching others how to be social, how to be leaders, that leaders building leaders. That is what I do. And sometimes, you guys, other people, they beat their heads against the wall trying to figure it out, and they figure it out or they don't. It takes years though. I think it takes 3 to 5 years for my program where you can change internally, not just externally at a job.
I see.
What I'm looking for is to help people to help me create an environment at work where we set the tone, not the company. And I'll talk about that a little bit briefly if you don't mind, because
Yeah,
I think it's a
I'd love to
huge
hear.
conversation around both of these. And um, I say this openly, and Kip knows, right? Like, I'm the culture champion. His label to me, same as the last place and the place before and the place before. Like, it's really important to me as a manager and as somebody just working somewhere that there's like low stress.
Hmm.
Even at the last place, I wanted low stress. I wasn't the one bringing it. I was just the one, I vouch for you guys. I bring all the problems to the table. No one else wanted to bring problems to the table. So it's like only me bringing problems to the table.
Right.
People don't like that. You want you to shut up and go do your job.
Hmm.
Let those other people whine. If they got such a big problem, why don't they come say something? Why don't people come say something? Typically, they don't want to lose their job, right? For the most part, they don't want to stir up crap, whatever it may be,
Non-confrontational.
non-confrontational, and they just take it,
Yeah.
whatever. So, like, back to Kips, like, I'm trying to create an environment, now obviously within the Brothers that Just Do Gutters culture that they inspire us to all have, as well as what Kip wants us to have. But don't take it so direct what I'm about to say. But I want to create an environment of people that control the environment, not just do what corporate says or what the owner says. The owner says every day I want you to make me a cake. I want us to not just make one cake. I want us to make 4 cakes and have 30 cupcakes.
Well, people who think for themselves.
I want people to think for themselves, and I want people to take care of other people's much beyond a company would ever do for you. A lot of people call it crazy and asinine. Sometimes I think I'm freaking crazy too, because the type of person I am. Like, I'll go to bat for the company. I'll come out of my own pocket for the company. When, like, if the company just gets tired of me, they're just going to fire me. I'm completely aware of that. Any
Right.
company, but I always treat it like they would never do that. And I want the employees and my coworkers to treat it the same way too. I don't want it to be fake, but I want us while we're there for 1 to 10 years together for it to be kind of surreal. And I think the only way we can have that environment is by all adding a little bit of above and beyond. So not that the job becomes a fantasy land of people going, thank you so much, kind sir. I really appreciate you loaning me your snips. And here they are back within 2 seconds of being and setting them the exact, you know what I mean? But like something like that, where people just actually care about each other, regardless of the looming fact that the company doesn't normally actually care about you. They care about your productivity and they get to know you and care about your family. I'm not saying Kip doesn't care about us. I'm saying the actual company as a entity. That's different than Kip and Brooke. That's different than me and you. If we're building a massive brand, we might sell that brand one day. So if Kip sells that brand to you tomorrow, he sold the company, right? He didn't sell himself. So when I say the company, I don't mean the humans that run it. I mean what it actually becomes and what it is. And I try to make sure I control that when I'm working there and I say it completely. It's much deeper.
So you'd say
It's
that
it's a psychology move.
outside of gutters, you think that there's the culture is probably more important than anything else.
100% culture in your household, culture in your community, culture with your friends,
Yeah.
culture with the people you work with is 1000% more important than putting screws in wood.
Now, when you go and you look for someone to install gutters, or they apply, you've got maybe 10 applications there, and you're looking through them all, and you interview them all. Would you say that culture is something that you look for, or you're looking for someone you could teach culture to?
That's a great question. There's identifiers that I have that I'm looking for in in certain questions and certain things that I do when I'm interviewing. I don't do normal interviews. I do ask them like more about their spare time, and I'm leading towards finding out if they have any commitment because in that commitment I'm going to find culture. And I'll give you an example. Someone tells me, "Yeah, man, I'm on a softball team in my spare time."
Right.
They're probably not like this. What do you call it when someone likes to be alone, reclusive? They're a social person. Yeah, an introvert. So I'm looking for things like that. Like, oh, are you in a band? Were you ever on a football team? You play sports? Like when I ask these questions, and people, you guys have heard me talk about this multiple times, my unique style of interviewing. I I don't want experience typically, and you know that. And I just want to know like who you are really quickly. It's because I'm looking for identifiers.
Right.
If you're in the community, if you're a church person, you're like, yeah, man, I go to church. Me and my family would do Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I know you're probably a part of some type of culture.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Versus the guy who does the interview with his head down and very quiet. And I'll talk about that person. It's Jacob. When Jacob first came and did his interview, and I've talked about Jacob, and he's my boy, and he's coming out of his shell still more and more and more. You should see him. You know, he's good. He's doing great. He was the one person that came in and was very quiet and very subdued. And I'm not saying that he was an introvert, but that's how he came across. But I'm okay with that as well because I like a challenge. And so if I take a guy that looks like he might be a little shy and not really get along, like I know I'm gonna get him to be part of the team, and the boys are gonna be like, "That my what they used to call Baby Jacob, like fucking Baby Jacob."
Man, Jacob.
It's Man Jacob, right? And it always was, but
Yeah.
it was what it was, right? That was our way of, and I always say I never really did that or said that to him, but it is what it is.
I did.
But that was the team's way of giving him a hug, right? He had a little
Right.
nickname. Once you get a nickname from the guys, like you're a part of the squad, right?
I had one. I don't know if you had one, but I don't know.
They was just called me Deals, man.
Deals.
Yeah,
I
it's been
can
the
see
same
that.
thing. G Deals. I always make the deals. I sell everything. Like turn a 2,000 into a 4,000 every time. I'm Master
Sounds
P
like
in the kitchen with the gutter jobs. It's like,
yeah. So would you say with Jacob you saw, or maybe you look for in other people, a blank canvas?
yeah, 100%. Well, he was young. He wanted to work. I knew the kind of money he wanted, and he said that he would give it a fair shot. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm just here to put you in the right position. I was talking with Tom Anthony today, He's a guy that's doing real well. He's up in New York. He's in the gutter growth program. He's a paying member. So we're coaching him, and his questions are fairly unique because he's already an articulate, educated boss. He's been running a business for a while, but he's trying to take stuff to the next level, and I have some of those answers for him. But back to your point with Jacob, it's like, and it kind of rang true with him asking me some questions about possibly promoting some people and stuff and what the pay was like and what their duties. And I'm just like, just set the expectation clear. Just make the expectation clear. So, like with Jacob, it was like, you'll climb a ladder, you'll put he was a body. He was a body. Remember at that time I was growing. I mean, we were coming into what, our sixth truck or fifth or sixth truck, maybe seventh. I can't even remember. I don't know if did we ever 7 trucks over there? I think we did 6 with the trailer running out. It was 2, 4, 6, but then there was the van. Anyway, we had a decent amount. And I'm not saying like was just hiring him just to be a day labor, but that's you get to a point where you start to take on, as long as they will show up, be on time, and they're honeable, which is teachable.
That's what I was about to say.
Let's go. Honeable. Let's go with it, right? Things happen for him, you know what those sequence of events are, and now he drives an hour and a half every day to work for me. And he does it and he loves it and he makes good money and he's absolutely a part of our team. He has a lot of integrity. He tries really hard. Like, I'm not letting that guy go.
Don't do it.
You know what I mean?
Don't do it.
I don't let people go for the most part.
I always enjoyed working with him. I don't think, you
and Jacob worked together. You were like, give me Jacob. I'm gonna
That's right.
turn him into a downspout making fool.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true. I absolutely enjoyed my time with Jacob. I think the list of people I didn't enjoy work with, it's funny too, because while I'm working with someone, all the things that annoy me are right there. But after not working with them for a while, I'm like, man, there's so many things to every person that I've worked with that I just miss. So
right.
much.
No, I'm with you on that. It's like you can't appreciate certain things until it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you actually work with somebody that actually sucks.
Yeah.
And you're like, if I could just I always tell people, like, I've had some helpers that were really, really, really good. But I've had a lot, right? I mean, uncountable amount. And for the most part, I don't want a helper. I just want 4 hands instead of 2. Yeah. So when I reach for stuff, I'm getting it. So I'm fine with just having a body on a $5,000 to $10,000 job. I'm going to do it every single day of the week. But yeah, like blank canvas is cool. Somebody that's already structured in culture, relationships. So, like I said, they're on a sports team. They're doing something active, and I'm looking for passion.
Yeah.
Passion. So blank slates don't really have a lot of passion. So they're like, yeah, I'm looking for work. Like they're hiding behind the desk. Like, yeah, I'm available. I used to work at FedEx. My sister can drive me to work except for on Thursdays. And you're like, oh my God.
So would you say the passion comes with the person, or do you think passion is motivated?
I thought about this the other day too. And I think I motivate people I'm so excited about the interview. Yeah. And I'm usually really, really excited about where I work. Yeah. That they come in, they probably care less about the job. They don't even know if they're going to get it. And I just talk them into working here. Like, this is going to be the best thing. You don't have no clue how we treat people. This is going to be amazing. The owners are awesome. Like, yeah. I'm like, look, we're going to pay you good. I used to be an installer. I'm going to make sure no one screws you over here. We're not going to have any problems. You're not going to dislike me. Here's the rules right on the wall. Here's how you grow over here. Like, let's get after it.
Well, that's how you grabbed me. Exactly. Yeah. Is the first phone call that I ever had with you. You were telling me about.
Hey, tell me.
Here it goes. Is you were telling me about how y'all start in the mornings, how the mornings go. Mm-hmm. You're telling me, we load up, we meet, everyone meets separately, and then we get out there and we get it done. There's no crackheads, there's no fighting, there's no nothing like that. Yeah, we're professional. And you had me at no fighting. No fighting. Because I
came from a lot of places where there's a lot of fight, and I don't put up with that. Yeah.
Every morning it was people are mad, people are Yeah, I mean, I got I got hit with a downspout one time.
Yeah, it's
It's
wild.
funny. It's funny looking back.
Grown men are usually like 50% of grown men usually act like mark ass little biatches before 9 a.m. I don't understand that. I'm not a morning person. Like, but once I'm up and in my car and headed to work, like I'm not about to go act like a whiny little, you know what, around a bunch of other grown men.
No.
Like that's sorry to me. Like you look like a chump with all that whining and complaining and bad breath and like I'm not even awake and like just grumpy in the morning. I used to fight those people at all these jobs. I fought people in the morning. You'll be over there acting like a little, you know what, mumbling crap, and here I come, dude, just swinging. Like, dude, and I'm getting whether it's me firing you or the owner, and I'm guys, I'm talking many, many years ago. I'm definitely not that person anymore. I have time for that. I did not like. I don't like bad. I don't like someone being in a bad mood. I think you know that at work, it's uncalled for. If you're mad about the job, come be a man.
Communicate.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, if you're that mad that you got to be a jerk to these people, that people, whatever, put your pouch up in the truck, pack that shit up, drive that truck to the office, walk up to me, get this fucking close, and be like, bro, I'm tired of your shit. Like, say it.
Grant, I'm
Don't
too
be a.
small for that.
I'm not doing nothing, bro. You can kick my knees out.
Uh,
Just so everybody knows, I'm super frail. I need shoulder surgery, hip surgery, and knee surgery. I am not fighting anyone ever, ever. I barely even fight with my little dogs. I can get hurt. My hands are bent and warped and jacked from all kinds. I don't have no troubles with anybody. But I'm saying be a man about it. Second of all, like, are you mad at the company? Are you mad at yourself? Are you mad at your helper? Like all those things you can be talked through or quit. So just don't come to work with a negative attitude and bring that shit on to everybody else.
I
It's
think
just not called for.
I
It's
think
not what
that
we're getting paid to do.
those people you were describing, I think it has nothing to do with the company.
No, just absolute
Everything to do with
misery.
you as a person.
Yeah.
And so I actually have a question that
Okay.
I thought about, I don't know, a long time ago actually. So your whole idea of culture is everything. And I support it 100%. I really
Hmm.
do. Do you think that you at 23 years old, that person you were just talking about, could have been infected by the culture that you now have today?
100%. I was starving for it at 23, but I had it from 16 to like 21 or 22. The two companies. Steve Willis, my first boss that I worked for on and off for like 16 to like almost 20 years old or 19 before I went to up North Michigan to college. Um, he was a badass boss, dude.
Hmm.
He was also my really good friend's dad. So I hung out at their house and like I drank good tequila with this guy. He had a nice office. Like we were smoking nice cigars. Like my father taught me a lot of things like that I'm good with. My father with my hands and technology and like just thinking first before I do things and taking the right processes and steps. And between my dad and my mom, like is gave me my creative side. But at that particular moment, I wasn't in my parents' best favor, and nor were they in mine.
Right.
I had just got done doing a long, long time in as a ward of the state, because
Yeah.
my parents were messed up. So at that time, Steve, in a sense, was showing me how to be a man.
Hmm.
We ate steaks together, lobster tails. I worked hard. I was doing a lot of copper work for him, standing seam bays and dormers. And he always treated me with respect. Don't get me wrong, I did some shit wrong and he'd chew us the frick out. Or like what maybe we were out in the pool too late at his house doing wild shit, he'd scream at us. But other than that, at work, we had an awesome culture. Like he was a cool ass boss for sure. And
Right.
we worked hard for him. And we were kids, 16, 17, 18. We were knocking crap out for him. Me and a couple of other neighborhood kids.
What would you say was the heart of his culture? What do you think?
Bringing food,
Really?
I mean, when you're that age
Okay.
and you're hanging gutters all by yourself and you don't really know what you're doing. And this is back in the day. He had a machine, but there was a time when you used to have to go to the supplier to run the pieces out
Hmm.
and put them on top of a stretched out ladder and then work them in function. This is back in box miter days and I mean, we were doing some hand tabs even back then because when we were doing bays and dormers and spheres and all those kind of things, like we knew how to make a miter out of a corner. We didn't need to buy box miters, but there was a time we did box too. All spike and furrow, blah, blah, blah. When the boss showed up, man, and had food and drinks,
That was it right there.
yeah, and he was like, "Man, this looks really good, guys. I appreciate you. Here's an extra 20 or 30 bucks." And this is in the 90s. That's
Yeah.
like getting handed 50 or $100 now. I don't want a freaking handshake.
Hmm.
Like I'm building something for you. I'm sorry. We can be friends, all that. That's cool, but let's be realistic here. You're taking financial risk. I'm taking physical risk. I'm putting in 8 hours a day. You were great with money and able to build this entity where people called you, and without me, you got nothing.
Hmm.
Especially for bosses that can't do it themselves.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, I don't want your handshake, man. I want cash. I don't want the perks. I don't want anything. I just want my money up front so I can build my family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
So that for me, it was always when they showed up with food, when they treated you like a man,
Right.
not just like an employee. And it wasn't the simple like, how's your family, man? Stuff like that. When they called you after work
Yeah.
and they're like, hey, me and some of the my other buddies that own businesses are going hunting and we want to take you with us. Oh crap. You want to actually be around me, not just
Yeah.
tell me thanks while I'm making you a bunch of money every day.
Right.
And when I say a bunch, whatever level it is, there's a
Right.
lot of in 20 something years, man, I made a lot of people very, very, very rich. And not to beat around the bush. Now, not every employee makes their bosses rich, but I did, and I have, and I will, and I still do.
I believe it.
So
I've not a doubt in my mind. Yeah. So you would say that's
culture, and
seriously
that's why
good.
it's so important.
Right. So what would you say to someone who was, maybe someone listens to this and says, man, I probably should work on the culture around me or in my family or in my business or whatnot.
Mhm.
How would you start? How would you start building culture somewhere with no culture?
Remember, just back up. How would you fly if you don't got no wings?
Grow wings.
You have to evolve.
Um,
So you'd have to go be around somebody that knew how to fly.
I see. So you would,
So you have to search for things in life. It doesn't just come to you. Um, you're not just one day not going to be a good businessman and then poof be great with business because you watch some YouTube videos. You're gonna have to go be around somebody that knows business.
that makes sense.
So if you're lacking culture, anybody's lacking culture, the owner, the manager, he's like, I just can't really figure it out. You got to go find somebody. I'm that person. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Come on down. I'll show you I'll give you the 24-hour culture thing. It's not that hard. Don't be a dickhead. Don't be a know-it-all. Treat your guys with respect. Don't let cash be king ever at all. Zero. Like who gives a shit about paper money? Other than desperate people, they're like holding on to it for dear life and they're micromanaging. I'm like, am I overpaying you this week? This is be it. Like, you're not going to be the culture person.
Hey, we need that $5 back.
And I know some people are like, might not understand this or think I'm taking shots towards any one direct person. There's a million bosses out here that are like so worried if they overpaid you $100 this week and they're going to have to get it back. And how are they going to get it back? And I would never be that way.
Well, I mean, you just got to realize that everyone who hears you say that, someone popped into their head.
There's a lot of
Everyone knows
people.
someone.
There's a lot of people that work for people that are
Yeah.
not very nice and they're stuck in their job. There's a lot of people. I know a lot of people personally that are working for people. And I know a lot of people that have left those people too by the droves, like overnight.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, culture is king.
Culture's king.
Culture is king. For sure. And without it, it's just a bunch of grumpy guys, man, waiting for somebody else to piss them off. So let's look at the downside of that. Besides emotionally grown men maybe being hurt,
Right.
the customer isn't getting that great of service, and me and you are in the backyard hating each other, or at the front of the truck hating each other, or like I would tell you to do something and you just like roll your eyes and walk away and mumble shit under your breath. You're not going to get the customer's not going to get the best experience.
No.
Plain and simple. It's
No.
just in the
I've
and
been in that situation.
yeah, I mean, we've all been in that situation.
It's
So
no fun. And you think that the customer doesn't know,
it's
but
horrible.
it
They know.
radiates off.
They know.
I mean, you go up there to, hey, your job's done, or, it's not. in any ways, then you got to come into it the next day, you know, and probably you probably cooled down, and now you're thinking, oh, how do I make it up to him today? Or, I got to work with this guy for another 3 months,
or forever. I mean, depending on, yeah,
and I think it all has to do with the you got mindset. Mindset I think that one thing that I enjoyed about working with you was the lap. I think that there's three different things that people look for when gutter installers.
hmm
When you're looking at a company and you're thinking about working for a company, I think there's three things you need to look for. I think that there's pay. That's one and foremost. How you
obvious.
support your
Yeah.
family.
hmm
I think that there's a ladder, and I think there's culture. I think that those three, at least for me, there's probably a dozen more, but I think those are the top
I
ones.
think there's a lot of people that aren't even aware of what they're looking for, so they don't know how to order them either, right? Young
That's
and
probably
old.
true as well.
There's like, I wonder how much they pay. I don't care if anybody likes me because I don't like anybody else. You know what I mean? Like everybody stay away from me. Those companies will never grow though
No.
because there's no inspiration and there's nobody aspiring to be better. So it's like,
I think the latter was one of my favorite parts.
Mhm.
There's nothing's hidden. It's not. There's nothing. You want to be here. Here's how to do it. And hey, why is that guy there? And it's like, well, that's why.
That's why.
There's
It makes perfect sense,
nothing,
right?
no secretive, nothing under.
No
No
favoritism.
favoritism. It's
Yeah,
just work hard.
just do this and check the box off.
Exactly. That's one of the things I value most, and I think that looking forward, something that I look for is ladder. And no one wants to be. I don't think anyone wants to be in one position for the rest of their life.
No.
We just had that conversation when I was asking you what's next for you.
Mhm.
I don't think anyone just doesn't think about what's next.
Right.
And I think that's the same thing when you're looking at a company, even if that company is only for 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, is that, what's next, even being at this company,
Yeah. Are you asking me?
No,
Oh.
just in general.
Man, I can't tell you my next moves,
No,
man. I got
no.
too much going on.
I don't even know if we have time for all that.
No, I mean, we're there. We gave him almost an hour right now. Mike, you drove an hour and a half to get here.
Yeah.
And I think we should do some more of this. I think we could build out a cool like premise that me and you could talk about,
I love it.
every month or something. We could do something.
I absolutely love your company and your conversation. I'd love to do it again.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Grant.
Good time. Have fun over at the guild. And they sell these. Oh, that thing's soft, dude. They sell these on what was the name of that?
Tag your swag.
Tag your swag. So thanks for watching. We've got a lot more coming up. I'd ask you guys if you would, if you've followed all the way to the end, please. I'm trying to get subscribers. It's really important that I can get more people viewing this. That's why we're putting out this education. Today was a little bit more. And thanks for taking it towards the education route. I was planning on just chopping it up with you about throwing screws and cap pounds at me.
Yeah, I'm learning as we speak. So
That's what it's all about. Hey guys, One Gutter Guard. Don't forget about us. Sponsoring.